I would definitely love to play in this era. You got a lot of bums making a lot of money.
Today, Shaq is getting the chance to play in the modern NBA, but he isn't alone.
You want first place, come play with me. You want second place, go somewhere else.
Also joined by Kobe Bryant as the greatest duo ever returns to save the Lakers. Because in this reality, LeBron announced he'll be retiring from the NBA. And Luka is allegedly trapped in an all-you-can-eat buffet. So now Shaq and Kobe are taking charge of this Lakers roster, seeing if they have what it takes to bring LA back to their glory days here in the modern NBA. Which to do so, they'll need to win 3 rings over the course of 8 years playing together, just like they did in the early 2000s. But as they missed the playoffs in 2026, they were off to a shaky start. However, that wouldn't be the case for too long, because the Mamba and Shaq were both coming into this league at the same experience as they joined the Lakers together in real life. Meaning Kobe was now coming off his rookie season, and his game would improve drastically just 1 year after failing to make the playoffs, now giving Shaq a respectable running mate. Because as you'd expect, the Diesel was dominating the modern NBA, scoring around 25 points a night on very high efficiency, taking full advantage of being surrounded by high-level shooters. But even more important for the Lakers was their major acquisition this season. They'd be landing De'Aaron Fox in free agency this year, securing a long-term star point guard to pair alongside a young budding Kobe and a prime Shaq. This would mean less touches for our 2 stars, but it also meant a more seamless offensive scheme, with Fox getting easier buckets for Bryant and O'Neal, leading to the Lakers adding on nearly 20 wins this season. And as Kobe and Shaq make their modern playoffs debut, there would be some doubts on how well they could mesh in this era while lacking shooting, but they were about to put the doubts to rest. Starting off the first round against the San Antonio Spurs, Shaq was eager to make a statement against Wembanyama, the premier example of a modern-day center, and needless to say, the Spurs felt the struggle of trying to contain the big man, with the Lakers making a statement that they're the real deal, sweeping the young, hungry Spurs. And while Shaq was all the buzz of round 1, Kobe was about to make a statement in round 2, where Bryant would easily outperform Devin Booker, crushing the Suns just as easily, but this seemingly walk in the park of the West was just about to come to a screeching halt.
Edwards driving.
The Wolves were punishing the Lakers in the conference finals, led by Anthony Edwards, and for Shaq, this one hurt a little extra, losing to Gobert.
Wolt NBA player.
Rudy Gobert.
Oh my God, I knew he was going to say Rudy Gobert.
But as Minnesota moves on to win the championship, the Lakers should be optimistic for the future, as their young core was only bested by the champs, and they'd have another chance in 2028. Thanks to the front office continuing to build around the star duo, adding some depth with guys like Cameron Johnson and CJ McCollum to bolster their starting lineup and bench respectively. Along with that, Kobe was having a full-blown breakout this year, finally getting completely comfortable with the modern game, cracking the top 3 in points per game around the league, establishing himself as a star to watch as legends like Curry, Harden, and Durant have finally retired. Which means now the league was wide open for new stars to take the spotlight, but they'd still run into struggles come the playoffs. Because while round 1 things would be looking great, yet again stopping the Spurs with a sweep, come the second round against Kyrie Irving and his Mavericks, there would be a sense of deja vu. Just like the matchup against the Wolves, the Mavs would have LA's number, loaded with more veteran experience, a deeper bench, and plenty of serviceable bigs to throw at Shaq, creating a nightmare for the Lakers, and in the end, they just didn't have enough. Dallas was closing this one out for LA's second straight gentleman's sweep, and as this roster fell far short of their goals, it was clear something just wasn't clicking. This team should be performing much better than they are. I'm truly stumped trying to figure out what is the problem in this sim. But whatever the problems were, the team looked like they were finally figuring things out. Still confident throughout the 2029 season, officially landing the first seed for the first time in this simulation. Yet their true test was still if they could succeed in the playoffs, where they'd need to overcome a familiar face, the same team that sent them packing just last season. Except this year, it was an even more daunting task, as the young Cooper Flag had developed into this season's MVP. And with Shaq and Kobe already halfway through their tenure together, this series was as critical as ever, leading to the world wondering, can they step up to the moment? Well, with this conference final starting off in LA, the Mavericks seemed to plain out want it more. They came right out the gate swinging with more energy than the overly confident Lakers, firing on all cylinders, taking a huge lead by halftime, silencing the LA fans, which would end up being a deficit that the Lakers were never able to claw out of, as Dallas remained in control the remainder of the game, taking a 1-0 series lead on the road, and fears were growing that the Lakers were about to fall short yet again. Luckily though, that would just be a slight scare, because the next 4 games were night and day in comparison. The Kobe and Shaq pick and roll was practically unstoppable as the Lakers defense dialed in while our stars handled business on the offensive end, winning the next 4 games in a row, finally getting over that hump to make a trip to their first finals where they would have one last challenge. The Philadelphia 76ers, led by their superstar VJ Edgecombe and the team's leading scorer, Tyrese Maxey. But we can't forget Joel Embiid, who was still on the roster after all this time, but now well into his 30s would be barbecue chicken for Shaquille O'Neal, still eager to make a statement against the modern big. O'Neal would be putting up some huge numbers versus Joel, taking advantage of the age star's worn down body. With him being surrounded by highly efficient shooters, the Sixers had no way to send double teams his way, leading to a commanding 2-0 lead early in the series, only 2 more wins shy of their goals. But the Sixers had no intentions at all of falling that easy. They'd come out the following 2 games and retaliate with a counterpunch just as strong as the Lakers' initial strike, led by a scorching hot shooting outburst, tying the series right back up. However, Kobe and Shaq expected this from Philly and would look on to the next game, which would be a pivotal Game 5, of which the winner typically goes on to win the series. So with the stakes established, you could expect a down-to-the-wire battle, as both sides fight to the very end. Our star duo finds themselves in a tied Game 5, a pivotal Game 5. Whoever wins Game 5 in a series usually wins the whole thing. They're getting the ball down low to Shaq with the mismatch. The double teams come and Shaq ignoring the double. Kicks out to Fox, resetting for the pick and roll. Fox, the wide open lane. His drive, he kicks it to Shaq. His lay is good, gives him the lead. What a play from De'Aaron Fox, still looking for his first ring in this reality. Tyrese Maxey coming around the screen, slowing it down, did not pull the trigger, driving it in. The hop step gets Fox jumping a little bit. De'Aaron Fox's defense is there. They're off to the races. They could have a dagger here with 40 seconds left. Up by 2 already as is. Fox slowing it down. They're going to Shaq, the little fella. On him, Shaq shows him out the way the board. The putback's off another board. Another putback is off. Shaq is just hoisting shots. Only up by 2. Philly the opportunity to take the lead or tie the game. 24 seconds left, 15 seconds left of the game clock. Tyrese Maxey, the crossover, driving in on Fox. Maxey, the floater for the tie. Coming out of a timeout after Maxey's huge shot to tie the game, the Lakers still have 16 seconds here to try to win it. Who's it gonna be? Fox, Kobe, Shaq. Game 5, trying to go up 3-2 in the NBA Finals in front of your home court fans. It's Fox with the ball now. Tyrese Maxey guarding him. They get it down low to Shaq and beat on him. The quick lay draws the foul. We all know Shaq is not a good free throw shooter, but he did hit the first. Either way, Philly has an opportunity to win it with 5 seconds left if they hit a 3. The second free throw, he hits them both, so at best, they can tie with a 2. Now, after a Philly timeout, they have an opportunity on the other end themselves to try to win the game. Inbound to Tyrese, 4 seconds left. Maxey, Fox on him, the pump fake. Fox, great D, it's off! The Lakers survive a thriller. And this big win was giving them more than just the 3-2 lead following the Game 5. It was giving them all the confidence and momentum that they needed to rally into enemy territory for one final game and blow out the Sixers to finally clear that hump, becoming NBA champions for the first time in the modern era, now only needing 2 more rings in the next 4 seasons to complete their goals. And as Kobe wins the Finals MVP, hopes were high for much more success, as in the 2030 regular season, where Kobe Bryant was taking over the NBA, officially earning his first MVP nod in the modern era of basketball, nearly averaging 31 points a night, with all expectations beginning to point towards a Lakers dynasty. That is until another run-in with Anthony Edwards and the Wolves, who, if you remember, killed the Lakers' hopes during our duo's first playoff performance of this sim. And now 4 years later, he was about to be doing the same. It didn't matter that Gobert was now 37, making things easier than ever for Shaq, or the fact that the Wolves were only the 4th seed this year, or even that this season's MVP was arguably the better player. Somehow, someway, Anthony Edwards just had the Lakers all figured out, ending their season once again. But don't forget, this is the modern NBA, a league where we haven't had a repeat in over a decade, meaning this was somewhat expected, and with 3 seasons left to win 2 more rings, there was no need to panic just yet. And in fact, to foreshadow the future, LA would have a chance for revenge before it's all said and done. But for now, they focus on 2031, which would turn out to be a huge bounce back year for LA, with Kobe and Shaq both making the All-NBA first team for the first time. Additionally, they'd add Josh Giddey to the mix after Fox left in free agency, which now gave them a younger, more pass-first guard, making Bryant's job even easier than it already was. Otherwise, this season was a lot more of the same, making the playoffs where, with no run-ins against their apparent rivals the Wolves, they'd be breezing through the Western Conference with little to no difficulty, eventually surpassing everyone in their way as they prepare to continue their quest for Ring 2, where the Lakers will find themselves drooling over their matchup. A young Brooklyn Nets team whose biggest player was 6'10", 200-pound Joan Behringer. And the events that would ensue following tip-off would be nothing short of dominant, with Shaq scoring on just about any given opportunity against a much smaller Brooklyn lineup. But that wasn't even the Nets' biggest problem, because Kobe Bean Bryant was unleashing a masterclass of scoring, capitalizing on the defense focused on Shaq, pouring in 32 points a night throughout this series, leading all scorers, and not only that, but leading his team to the win, landing the Finals MVP as the Lakers defeat Brooklyn in 5, cementing the Lakers in the history books with their second ring. Now only 1 championship shy of proving themselves in the modern era, but these last 2 seasons are about to go quicker than expected. Because despite Shaq winning the following season's Defensive Player of the Year and Bryant picking up where he left off from his Finals MVP, the Lakers would struggle, and I really didn't have an explanation. I'm not even sure how this is possible. There was no major injuries. They lost Cameron Johnson, but that shouldn't have been a big enough problem to drop to the 13th seed. I'm really not sure. So with our stars beginning their final season of The Sim, it was now or never to get this done. But working under pressure was the Black Mamba's specialty. He thrived in moments like this, and in turn would lead the league in scoring, giving his team a major offensive punch. Even Shaq was picking things up at level with his legacy in the modern era on the line, looking as unstoppable as ever, not too far off of Kobe's points averages for the year. And LA would even find their replacement for Johnson, adding in Buzelis, helping the team get back on the winning side of things. But even with the great season, they still had one more challenge that so far has been impossible for them to overcome. Although this season's installment of the Wolves and Lakers rivalry was looking far different, it was no longer one-sided. Kobe and Shaq were clashing with Ant like their lives were on the line. Each side was trading blows with one another, trading game after game in the series as things were quickly developing into an all-time great playoff duel, concluding with a final Game 7 on the horizon. And as the 6-seeded Pacers make the finals, whoever wins this Game 7 would be heavy favorites to win it all. So as this epic conclusion prepares with the ante as high as possible, both sides were totally locked in, neither wanting to budge in a physical battle between 2 fierce rivals, resulting in an instant classic as the end of the game can only be described as legendary. We have a tied game with a lot riding on the finale of this Game 7 here versus the Wolves. Kobe and Shaq's entire challenge is on the line. They get it down low to O'Neal in the post. The smart defender, the hook shot. It's off. The Wolves get the rebound. McDaniels now on the break. Connect doesn't even try to stop him. He somehow recovers. It's off. Connect the board. The Lakers again. Josh Giddey with the ball once more. It's looking like they're trying to go to Shaq again. He does have a smart defender. Shaq gets enough space for the slam and the lead. What an entry pass there from Josh Giddey, getting it down low to Shaq. Now on defense, a huge defensive possession. They're attacking Giddey, the weaker defender. Number 18 loses it. Josh Giddey with the steal off of his leg. Giddey slowing it down. 1.5 minutes left for the Lakers here. They get it to Shaq. Shaq driving it in. The free throw line. Shaq did hit the first free throw to give him a 3-point lead. That was huge. If he can hit both free throws, that would be big here. Shaq, free throw 2. That one is off, but the Wolves cannot take the lead. At best, they can tie here on the break. McDaniels finds Anthony Edwards down low in the paint. Kobe is all over him. No out of bounds call. Sutton with it now on the corner. Driving in. Giddey draws the foul. He does hit both free throws, but the Lakers still maintain a 1-point lead here. Josh Giddey, they're going to Shaq again. They really like this matchup right here. Shaq, the double team comes. A post fade. Is he out of his mind? Bryant, the board. His lay is off. Fighting for it. It's a scramble. The Wolves end up with his Sutton. McDaniels on the break. Dalton Connect is there. Duran running to the lane. They're slowing it down. They get it over to Sutton. Kobe Bryant on him. Kobe, a huge stop if he can get it done here. Kobe, he's all over him. Sutton, it's off. Get to the board. 30 seconds left in this game. A 9-second differential from shot clock and game clock. A huge possession for the Lakers. Kobe has the ball this time. They're swinging it around. They might be going to Shaq again. They really like this right side low post action. Shaq, he tries to force it. Timeout, Wolves. We have not gotten a single look for Kobe Bryant in this game 7. It's all Shaq. They're really loving that post-up action. But now it's going to be defense. Defense wins championships. Josh Giddey, can they finally overcome the insurmountable Wolves in this simulation? Giddey on defense. Anthony Edwards trying to get open. Sutton here. They get the screen. Sutton coming around the screen. Buzelis has the help. What kind of shot? The Lakers somehow survive. Oh my goodness. As the Lakers finally overcome the Wolves, they look ahead to their final challenge, which, as alluded to, was the Indiana Pacers. And much like was expected, would be a bloodbath for whoever made it out the West, with the Lakers in full control here until the final buzzer sounds, with them winning trophy number 3. Ironically, defeating the same 3 teams that they won championships against in real life to complete their goal of 3 rings here and prove that even in the modern NBA, this is one of the greatest duos of all time. But what about the modern NBA without Kobe and Shaq? What would happen in the next 10 seasons? Find out by clicking this video next.